was life like when you were a child?
My earliest memories was on 16th Street. We still live there in town. I don't remember how old I was. The sidewalk was my front yard. If I played in the front yard, it was on the sidewalk in front of the house. One of my earliest memories on that street living there was there was a carnival that came as a vacant lot. Right, a house between us and the vacant lot on the corner, and they had a carnival come there, and they had a Ferris wheel. And me and Mom and Daddy got on the Ferris wheel one night, and it broke down with us right up on top of it.
How long were y'all up there?
Don't know, but it was a long time.
Or it seemed like,
Huh?
or it seemed like it.
Well, yeah, it seemed like a long time. And it was at night.
So were you scared?
Well, not really. The thing wasn't moving. Wasn't really nothing to be scared of when it stopped. But one of the little girls her family traveled with that car circus, had a pedal car. And while they would stay on that corner, she'd come around to the house, and we'd pedal it together. I'd get in with me and her both would pedal it. So I guess that was my first girlfriend, little gypsy girl.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
What's your first memory, Nana?
I don't remember anything until after we moved to Peabody Apartments. And I guess my earliest memories were we would have stage shows. We had a narrow front, I don't know if you even call it a porch, but I guess that's what you'd have to call it. And it had wrought iron posts on each side. And we would tie a sheet or a spread or a quilt or something across there for the curtain. And we would take turns performing, and then there would be kids out there watching the audience. And I don't know
They'd
what
draw a crowd.
Yeah. We didn't charge, so everybody came. And I don't remember anything what I did for my performance, but it was fun doing that. I can remember that real well. And we would, at night, we would play hide and seek, and we would catch lightning bugs and just play around where the lights were. You know, it was lit up good in front of the
That's
houses.
street lights.
Yeah. So it wasn't like we was out in the dark. But I can't remember as far as my young childhood, any younger than that. I remember Mother would let me go to the store because it was right there. And even at a young age, it seemed like I was older than my 6 years old or 5-year-old. I don't know how old I was when she let me go to the store. But I was young. In fact, she would sometimes have to send me to the store to get something. I can remember getting her snuff one time. I couldn't remember the name of it. And it was something to do with rose, something. And I got her the wrong kind. And I think she made me take it back, I believe. But Well, I had a good time there, and we lived there till I was about 9 years old. But it had started going down. A lot of low-class people that fought and carried on party, were moving in. And so Daddy was ready to, he had always wanted a place with some land anyway. So he was ready to get out there. But he had to catch a ride to work back then because we didn't have a car. And I know Mother had to go to town sometimes, but I can't remember ever going on the bus to town. So I'm sure I must have with Mother. It was 6 years after I was born. I mean, from the time I was born before my sister Elma was born. So I was an only child for close to 6 years.
Did y'all have chores to do when you were little?
Yep.
I don't remember. I might have had to help shell peas. It was the only thing I can remember.
What kind of chores did you have?
I started milking a cow when I was 8. Twice a day, morning and night. Daddy paid me $25 a week to milk that cow.
That was big money then.
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
it?
I'd go spend the weekend, spend Saturday with Maurice, and he lived about 2.5 or 3 blocks from the movies theater. And I'd go to his house on Saturday, and we'd go to the movies and watch movies most all day.
What kind of movies did y'all watch?
The old black and white cowboy movies, mostly on Saturday. And then they'd have, it was part of the time, or a good bit of the time, it was during World War II. And they'd have newsreels on what kind of thing, what was happening in World War II.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in between the movies, or?
Yeah. That made me want to be a B-29 tail gunner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then when I found out how short a lifespan a B-29 tail gunner had in actual combat, I decided I didn't want to do that.
What is their lifespan?
In combat,
Yeah.
less than a minute.
Ooh. Wow.
So if it was ever in combat, most of them didn't make it.
Yeah.
I didn't think I wanted to do that after I heard that.
Yeah.
Because they was on the tail end of that airplane and didn't have no protection.
Yeah.
And that's what the enemy planes would go after first, the tail gunner.
Oh, yeah. When y'all were kids, did y'all like listen to the radio, like radio shows and stuff?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
At
yeah.
night.
I always listened to the Grand Ole Opry on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't have any choice. Daddy listened to it.
From
And I guess I liked it too.
broadcast from WSM Radio in Nashville, Tennessee.
Well, I listened to the shows like they have on TV now. The Shadow Nose is the name of one of them.
Shadow Nose?
Uh-huh.
What is that?
The Shadow Nose. It was scary.
And they had one on there. The Green Hornet was one.
I didn't listen to that one.
And they had
The Creaking Door was
Squeaking
one.
Door, yeah. What's behind the Squeaking Door?
Yeah, and there's another one that I listened to.
I think they even had some Dick Tracy things on radio.
Oh, really?
It was printed comics in the paper too.
Would the printed copies go along with the radio show
No.
that week?
Uh,
Oh.
But yeah, they were like a suspense. You know, I'd listen to them in the dark. Well, after I went to bed.
Oh,
And
yeah?
the lights were out. And the thing is, me and my sister and two brothers shared a room. Me and Elma had a bed, and my two brothers had a bed. And I don't know if they listened to it, it might have scared them. They were younger than me. I don't remember being scared. But,
So Roxy has a question
What?
for Paw Paw.
All by my tooth,
Yeah.
it fell out.
Yeah, so
When
you're
the other one was growing in.
yeah, so you're wanting to ask them if they remember losing their teeth, or if they have any funny stories about losing their teeth.
No.
So Paw Paw was telling a funny story about his tooth. So tell us the story about your tooth, Paw Paw.
I had it was real loose on the bottom, and Mama had beeswax in the sewing machine. And if you run sewing thread through beeswax, it makes it real strong. So I did that on my sewing thread and tied it on my tooth and tied it to the doorknob in the hall. And I was sitting there in a chair playing with it, trying to work up my nerve to slam the door. And I couldn't do it. And Mama kept walking by. And she looked like she wasn't paying no attention, so I wasn't paying her too much attention. And she started by one time and slapped the door and slammed it to and snatched my tooth out.
Do you remember losing any of your teeth?
not that I recall. I didn't have
A what?
an exciting experience with my teeth.
I want to go
Oh,
inside.
Well, the funniest tooth story I had
Uh-oh.
was my grandmother was getting false teeth made. She was going to the dentist and getting some teeth pulled in, and I saw a whole full set of false teeth made, and I thought, well, that was the thing to do. So I had a loose tooth that needed pulling. I wouldn't let Daddy pull it. I wanted to let the dentist pull it. So he took me to the dentist on Broad Street in Columbus. It was up on the second floor. And when I got there, the dentist asked Daddy if he needed to deaden it. And Daddy told him no, if he stuck a needle in my mouth, he wouldn't get to pull the tooth probably. So they put me in the chair with the covering on, and when the dentist snatched out the tooth, I jumped out the chair and went out the door and down the stairs out on Broad Street and took off up Broad Street. Daddy right behind me. It was a long time before I went to the dentist again after that.
Roxy, what is your favorite food to eat?
Watermelon, watermelon, and I kind of like chicken nuggets, and I kind of like French fries, and watermelon toffee.
And SpaghettiOs? You like SpaghettiOs?
I like watermelon and French fries.
And I like chocolate.
Oh, I love
Cake
chocolate.
and milkshakes and cherries, kind of.
What kind of milkshake you like?
Chocolate.
Chocolate?
I thought
What was y'all's go-to food when y'all were a kid? Because they didn't have SpaghettiOs or chicken nuggets.
No, we had
No.
fried chicken and
From chickens in your yard?
Yeah.
yes, yes.
now I might want to talk about
Mother would listen, Roxy. You might find this interesting. When we wanted chicken nuggets, listen how we got them. My mother would go out and catch a chicken and wring its neck and dip it
What
in.
does ring mean?
Break its neck.
Yeah, kill it. And dip it in hot water and then pick all the feathers off and then cut it up And I mean, that was fresh chicken, and then she would cook it, fry it.
It tasted a lot different than what you get now.
It wasn't big old breasts like that. It was, you
It
know.
was
My favorite piece of the chicken was the pulley bone. I bet you've never seen a pulley bone. And you know what you do when you finish eating it? It's a bone shaped sort of like that. And me and my brother or sister or brothers would pull, one of them would pull this side of the pulley bone and I would pull this one to see who washed the dishes. Whoever got
The one that got the short side had to wash the dishes.
Right. Bye, guys. Is that what
See
we're
y'all
supposed to say?
again next session.